Imagine winning $12.7 million overnight. You quit your job, buy your dream house, spend money like there's no tomorrow, and then decide to buy the soccer club you've loved your entire life. It sounds like the ultimate dream. But for John McGinnis, that dream became a financial nightmare. When he bought his beloved soccer club, he thought he was buying a football team. What he didn't fully understand was that he was also taking on its debts. And within just over a decade, the man who once had millions in the bank was struggling to afford groceries. This is the story of how a $12.7 million lottery win disappeared. In 1997, John McGinnis was living a relatively ordinary life in Scotland. He worked as a hospital porter, earning around £150 a week. He was a passionate football fan, and like millions of other people, he occasionally bought lottery tickets. Then one day, everything changed. McGinnis discovered that his ticket had matched the winning numbers in the UK National Lottery. His prize, £10 million. That was roughly $12.7 million at the time of the reported conversion. For someone earning £150 a week, the amount was almost impossible to comprehend. He had gone from worrying about his weekly paycheck to suddenly having more money than he could realistically spend in a lifetime. But McGinnis didn't simply want to sit on his fortune. He wanted to enjoy it, and he wanted to do something with it that meant something to him. After collecting his winnings, McGinnis left his hospital job. Why continue working for £150 a week when you suddenly have millions? He began spending heavily. Luxury purchases, a completely different lifestyle. The kind of spending that would have been unimaginable before his lottery win. But there was one purchase that stood out above all the others. Something far more ambitious than a new car or an expensive house. McGinnis decided he wanted to own a football club, and not just any football club. He wanted to own Livingston Football Club, a team he was passionate about. Then came the unbelievable decision. He reportedly spent around £3 million to acquire the club. For a lifelong football fan, this was supposed to be a dream come true. But there was a problem, a very expensive problem. When McGinnis bought Livingston, he apparently didn't realize the full financial burden that came with the club. Buying a football club isn't simply about paying the purchase price. There are wages, bills, operating costs, and, most importantly, debts. McGinnis found himself responsible for financial obligations connected to the club, and suddenly, millions of pounds began disappearing. The fortune that had once seemed almost limitless wasn't limitless at all. Think about what £10 million looks like. To someone earning £150 a week, it sounds like an endless supply of money. But large fortunes can disappear surprisingly quickly when they're combined with major purchases, expensive lifestyles, and financial obligations. McGinnis had already spent millions. Then the football club's debts began consuming more of his remaining fortune. The money that once seemed impossible to lose was suddenly running out. And this is where the story takes its darkest turn. Because McGinnis wasn't simply losing some spare cash. He was watching his lottery fortune disappear. By the late 2000s, the transformation was staggering. The man who had once won £10 million was no longer living like a millionaire. By 2009, reports said McGinnis had barely enough money left for basic groceries. Just think about that. In 1 year, you're a hospital porter earning £150 a week. Then you win millions. You become the owner of a football club. You have more money than most people could imagine. And just over a decade later, you're worrying about having enough cash to buy food. It's one of the most dramatic examples of how quickly sudden wealth can disappear. John McGinnis didn't lose his fortune because he simply bought expensive clothes or went on lavish vacations. His story was more complicated. He took a huge financial risk on something he genuinely loved: football. Owning Livingston may have seemed like the ultimate victory for a passionate fan, but passion doesn't necessarily make something financially sustainable. A lottery win gave McGinnis the ability to chase a dream, but it also gave him access to enormous amounts of money without necessarily giving him the financial experience needed to manage that wealth. And that distinction can be devastating, because having money and knowing how to protect money are two completely different things. John McGinnis' story isn't really about winning the lottery. It's about what happens after you win. £10 million sounds like it should last forever, but millions can disappear when you combine massive purchases, ongoing expenses, debt, and decisions made without fully understanding the financial consequences. The lesson is simple. Winning money can change your life overnight. Managing it is what determines whether that change lasts. John McGinnis went from a 150 pounds a week hospital porter to a multimillionaire, to the owner of his beloved football club, and eventually to someone struggling to afford groceries. His lottery win gave him the chance to live his dream, but the dream came with a price he never expected. And that's what makes his story so unforgettable. So, if you suddenly won $12.7 million tomorrow, would you quit your job, buy your dream home, or would you invest it and try to make sure you never had to worry about money again?